Good morning, everyone. It's your daddy Odin, and I like to first of all apologize for the delay in uploads. Sadly, we could not upload anything last week because of midterms, but we are done with midterms, and we have a lot of free time now, and we will be maintaining our upload schedule. I really apologize for that happening. We'll make sure that does not happen in the future. And today, I felt like we need to start back on a good note, and we're gonna start on Invoker. In the previous Invoker guide, I talked about Quas Wex, and now I'm gonna talk about Quas Wex. Quas Wex is a really strong build of Invoker, but you really need to be a team player to play this build. The times you pick Quas Wex is that if you're lacking mid game tempo or early to mid game tempo around 10 to 20 minutes, that's when you try to pick Invoker and go Quas Wex. Quas Wex is known famously to deal against Invoker counters as well. If the enemy has someone like Lina, Queen of Pain, Torn Spirit, or someone like that, you usually try to go Quas Wex build. By using Quas Wex, you can use a Tornado, drop a EMP into a Cold Snap, and remove all the mana. And usually this damage nuke early game does damage somewhere around 300 to 500 damage depending on what level you are. So without any further ado, let's first look at the item build for Quas Wex Invoker, then we'll look at the skill build. The items you might want to buy early on when you're going to laning phase are a Mantle of Intelligence, a Circlet, and a Ring of Protection, a Fairy Fire to make sure that you can avoid sticky situations and have a damage boost, as well as one Iron Branch. Ask your teammates for 2 tangos and a ward if possible. The Mantle of Intelligence and the Circlet will become your Null Talisman, and the Ring of Protection will become your Basilisk. Basilisk is really good. If turned on, it gives 2 armor to your creeps. So make sure when you're in laning phase, in the early lane phase, turn your Basilisk to inactive mode. When it's inactive, any hero that passes by you will get the Ring of Basilisk effect, but none of your creeps will get the effect. Make sure to remove it off, or else your lane will push into the enemy's tower and you'll lose the lane equilibrium. After you get the Ring of Basilisk, you have an option here. You can either go Brown Boots, and from Brown Boots fully go into Phase Boots, or else if you feel like you need Urn of Shadows earlier and you want to get more kills, you can go Urn of Shadows. I usually like to go Urn of Shadows for multiple reasons. One, it gives me mana regeneration. It gives me +2 armor so I can tank up more damage. It also gives me +2 attributes, giving me more damage and more intelligence, dealing more spell damage. After I get my Urn of Shadows, you have 2 options you can go as well again. You can either go ahead and complete your Phase Boots, which will in turn make you more fast and more gives you more attack speed, and as well as gives you more armor. If you feel like you are lacking the chase or you're lacking the movement speed to either avoid or engage into enemy heroes, by all means go Phase Boots. Or else you can get your other best friend, which is Spirit Vessel. Spirit Vessel is really good on Invoker. It helps you do more damage on enemy heroes like Alchemist, Timbersaw, who rely highly on their ults, giving them a lot of regen. When Spirit Vessel is cast on an enemy hero, all regen is stopped, even if they're in the Ancient Fountain. They will not get any regen. So it's really a nice item to get early on if the enemy hero has someone who highly relies on healing. Most of the notorious healers are like people Bristleback, Axe, Timbersaw, and Alchemist. If you do go up against Timbersaw mid, I highly urge you to rush the Spirit Vessel. If you don't have Spirit Vessel, Timbersaw will go out of control. Your team needs to commit a lot of resources. After your Spirit Vessel is fully done, by the point you make your Spirit Vessel, and if you're being lenient, it'll be around the 10 to 14 minute mark, depending on how well you get farmed and how many kills you've been had. So when you reach this point, you can come to a choice kind of thing. When you reach your Spirit Vessel, Invoker will usually be around level 11 to 12, and you can either deviate into a more damage build of getting the Exorb beads, or else you can keep on continuing with your Quas Wex and do more team control and mana removal. So if the enemy team has someone like Storm Spirit, Wraith King, I urge you to go, or even Skyrat Mage, I urge you to go into into a max Quas Wex build by getting a Meteor Hammer. If you think Meteor Hammer is not your thing and you cannot time it right, just skip Meteor Hammer. Start skilling your Exorb beads and go into a Axe. I'll show you in the skill build how each one goes and where it splits off. So the next item you will be making is Meteor Hammer. Because I love Meteor Hammer, it gives you an extra stun, does tower damage, and it controls team fights, especially if you have someone like Void or someone like that. So you can drop the Meteor Hammer as the chrono is coming to an end. So you can have major control in the team. After Meteor Hammer, you want to get your Aghanim's. Aghanim's is really good. It provides spell cooldown reduction for you and giving a 2-second invoke time, which helps you cast multiple spells in a quick session. And if you're not going for Exorb beads, you can actually delay your Axe even more, because without having Exorb bead, you'll only have 3 major spells. Actually, you will only have 3 spells you can use, so you really don't need it. I'm sorry, you'll have 4 spells. I forgot about Ghost Walk. You'll have 4 spells, so it shouldn't be a major problem to be sorting through which one you want. After you get Axe, it's really a situational game. You can either go for BKB if the enemy has a lot of lockdown on you. You can go Lincolns if there's a Doom or something like that. You can always go Aeondis. You can go Blink. I usually like to go around BKB into a Refresher so that I can spam my spells. And when the game goes later on, you can always sell your Phase Boots, and you can make something like Boots of Travel. If you're getting a really harassed early game and there's heroes like Kunkka or someone, instead of getting a Null Talisman, try to get a Bracer and go into Power Thread. Using a Power Thread, you can get more stats, and getting these stats will help you get more tankier early game so you can deal with these heroes. Most popular heroes against Invoker where you might want to go Bracelet into Power Threads is Lina, Quap, and Kunkka. Even though you go Quas Wex and get the regen, these 3 heroes have a lot of high burst damage, and you might be fighting on the edge and sometimes die. Okay, now let's look at the spell build. Okay, the skill build for Quas Wex Invoker is really simple actually. All you gotta do is max out your Quas and Wex beads until level 10. At level 10, I urge you to get the Ghost Walk cooldown reduction because it's really helpful, especially for a Quas Wex Invoker where you want to get in and out of these team fights. But until you reach level 10, just alternatively keep on leveling up your Quas and Wex. Okay, at level 10, you'll be at 5 levels into Quas and 4 levels into Wex. This does a lot of damage, especially if you use a tornado. The tornado will have a lift time of 2.3 seconds, and it will have a damage of 225, which is really high. And you can also add it on with the EMP. EMP has 400 mana reduction or removal, and it's 60% into damage. So 400 is roughly tough math, but I'm assuming it's around 250 or something, because half of 400 is 200. If you feel like you have someone like Void or your team is just lacking in damage, then you go Exhort. Unless you if you feel like your team does not lack any damage and you want more control, more lockdown, then just keep maxing the Quas and Wex. The lift time into a strong EMP into a Meteor Hammer is really good. If you do stick on maxing out your Quas and Wex speed, just keep doing that. But in the talent tree, you can there's a lot of choices. It's Invoker. He has a lot of spells, so it's all on player perspective. and how the game is actually going for you. So when you come into the talent tree, when you're going Quas Wex build, you usually try to go into the -15 seconds of cold snap, mainly for two reasons. If you look at the cooldown on cold snap, it's only 20 seconds. If you get that talent, that means you have a cold snap every 5 seconds. Just imagine, if you're in a team fight for 30 seconds, that means you can use at least 6 cold snaps. And that means you can have that much control on your enemy hero. Cold Snap into Earn is really strong. It stun locks them, and especially if you Meteor Hammer, Earn, Cold Snap with some Force Spirit, you will wreck them. They cannot even use a spell. At level 20, I love Cataclysm, especially if you have a major control with someone like Treant or Void. Cataclysm destroys them, and especially if you can land a 5-man tornado into Meteor Hammer and drop a Cataclysm, they usually die. I tend to not get the plus 50 at clarity damage and speed unless I have a Luna and I want to boost the hell out of her. At level 25, as I spoke in my Quas Exhort tutorial for Invoker, it's up to your choice. I like to get the -16 tornado cooldown for one main reason. One, I love to spam my tornadoes, and I want to get as much vision as possible for my team staying far back. You can see tornado has a really high range. If I drop a tornado, you can see it creates a path and it goes till here. I'm standing at my shrine, it goes until the enemy ancient spot, so which is really long range. And at normal, the cooldown on tornado is 30 seconds, and if I get the -16 seconds, I have a tornado every 14 seconds. And if you use the lift time as a base and you subtract it off the cooldown, that means 14 minus 3 seconds. That means I'll have a tornado to spam on the enemy heroes every 11 seconds, which is really strong, especially if you get an Octane. But if you feel like they have a lot of illusion heroes and you're lacking control in the team fight, go radial lifting. And that's all for Invoker. I hope you guys learned something new today. Please do leave a subscribe and don't forget to hit that bell icon. We're also streaming on Twitch channel. I'll leave the Twitch channel link in the description. Please do come check us out. We stream every week on Tuesdays and Saturdays and Sundays at 7 to 1 a.m. EST. I'll leave the schedule and I'll also leave the link in the description below. Thank you and have a nice day.